Hey everyone, it's Hazel West, and I'm here with my May reading wrap up. It was a really slow month. May was for me. I, I don't know. I was sick for like a few days, and I didn't get any reading done then because my eyes hurt too bad. And apart from that, I've been kind of trying to like write more again. So reading didn't work out. I did end up reading 6 books though, and I was really happy about the ones I did read. So, we'll just get into this. The first book I read was Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge. Um, this one, um, I really really liked it. I think I rated it 4 stars on Goodreads. It's more of a 4.5 star read. Um, I really, really loved Cruel Beauty when I read it a few months back, and I think I still like Cruel Beauty better, but this one is definitely up there. There were just a couple things in this that made me not like it quite as much as Cruel Beauty, but it really wasn't enough to make me dislike the book at all. Anyway, um, I I I loved the just the whole concept of this book and the magic and stuff. It was just so cool. Um, it it's very very loosely based on the Little Red Riding Hood story. Like it's like hardly even there. It's more just like a really cool fantasy world. Um, but I'm trying to remember what the people were called in this because I can't remember anything after I read a book. But The Forest Born, I guess it was. But yeah, I it was just so cool and so dark. It was like such a really cool dark fairy tale. Rochelle was a really really good protagonist. She was a great heroine because she was tough and unapologetic, just like the character in Cruel Beauty as well, which I really really liked because she didn't necessarily have an attitude. She just did what she did, and she didn't really care what people thought of her because of that. And then I really really loved the character Armand in this. He was really sweet, but at the same time he didn't like come across as a pushover, even though you kind of start to think that at the beginning, but in reality he was a really really um he yeah, he was a really strong character even if he was rather quiet about it, but just really really cool. Um Lots of really interesting twists in this that I did not expect, and um the finale was just really awesome. I can't really say much about it because I don't want to spoil anything. I also really, really liked how the folk tale or historical tale or whatever that they talk about in this story was actually told throughout the story. I really, really liked that. I think that was a cool way to do it. So it's not like someone just dumps information on you via a character. It was kind of like you learned as you went along. So yeah, 4.5 stars. Definitely really liked it, and I cannot wait for her next book. She's just such an amazing writer. After that, I picked up Vodnik by Bryce Moore. This was one that my friend Abigail recommended to me a while back for my 2016 reading exchange with her. Um, it is based on Slovakian folklore, which I thought was really really cool. I knew next to nothing about it before reading this book, but I always love folklore, urban fantasy kind of things, and I enjoyed this a lot. The main character, Thomas, he was really fun. Um, I I liked him a lot. I think anyone who enjoys like Percy Jackson and any books like that would probably really really like these. Um, but yeah, the whole folklore thing behind the Vodniks and just all the other things were so cool. And like one of my favorite parts was the little excerpts that they put in front of like each chapter that is supposed to be from like the kind of like the Idiot's Guide to Being Death. So yeah, I'm actually really sad because it seems like this was supposed to have a sequel to it. At least that's the way it's set up at the end. But he hasn't written one yet, and I hope he does because I really, really want to see this story continue. I think it would make a really good series. After that, I was trying to get out of a reading slump, so I picked up the next Sisters Grimm book. This is book 3, The Problem Child, by Michael Buckley. These always end up getting me out of reading slumps because they're quick and they're fun, and I just love them. I think I'm loving this story more and more as I go along in the series. I just really like how the characters are developing, and this one was pretty exciting too. Like, it was interesting to see more of the Red Hand and creepy little Red Riding Hood was really creepy. Um, yeah. But yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to reading more of this series because they're just so fun. I love them. Oh, after that, I picked up this book from the library. It's called A Devil in the Details by K.A. Stewart. This is the first book in the Jesse James Dawson series. It's an urban fantasy. And Jesse is a champion, which means he essentially, what he does is he gets hired by people who have made deals with demons, and he, like, will fight the demons for them to get out of the deal, which, honestly, he should just let them rot. not that, not that all of them do it for bad reasons, but, anyway, I really like the premise. I really like Jesse as a character. You're kind of your typical, urban fantasy character. He was, like, pretty snarky, but I think, I think he's a little bit different than most of them because, like, he has a wife and child, which most of the guys are bachelors, but I actually really like that about him. He loves his wife, he loves his daughter, and he loves his truck, and I appreciate that. Like, I approve. And it was an interesting dynamic for this kind of book, but it did not detract from it in any way. But yeah, I really enjoyed the characters. I liked the storyline. I thought it was interesting, and not something that is, like, totally overdone either. And I rated this one 4 out of 5 stars. I'm glad I found a new urban fantasy series that I like, because I'm always looking for them. There never seem to be enough that are actually engaging. Not finally, actually. After that, I picked up Firefight by Brandon Sanderson, the second book in the Reckoners trilogy. And I love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This series is just so amazing. Like, this one may be slow to begin with, but it's just so cool that you can't really, like, get bored with it. Even if most of the action kind of comes in spurts and whatever. But man, I love this series so much. I love David. He's still a good character, and I don't know, I loved what developed in this, and what we find out about Calamity and everything, and it's just so cool. And, like, about the epics in general and what they are or aren't or whatever. So much awesome in this. I thought the villainess Regalia was cool. And I like the new characters that came in as well. And I really, really cannot wait to finish this series, even though it will be sad, because I need to read Calamity soon, because I need to know how it ends. Okay. And finally, I picked up Jacoby, the first book in the series by William Ritter, as a reread for this month, because I wanted to reread them before the third book comes out this month, or in August, I guess. And obviously 5 out of 5 stars. It's still just as good as the first time I read it, and I just adore Jacoby. I hadn't necessarily forgotten how much I loved him in Abigail, but I was reminded of it very fondly when I read this book. And I can't wait to read the new one that comes out this year, so definitely a favorite series. So that was my reading wrap up for May. I'll be back with my book haul for May as well. So see you then. Bye.